Now this right here is a nice set. This is the Imperial Armor Marauder, rated ages 8 and up, with set number 75311 with 478 pieces, which I think I've already mentioned, but hey. Now this set comes with Grief Karga, of course, in the updated look, which looks great. An Artillery Stormtrooper, which is great, and two Stormtroopers, which I have no clue what their faces are. I just grabbed two identical ones from a random bin somewhere. Not mine, because yeah, we'll go with that. Now, this set is definitely interesting. It looks like Grief Karga has taken it over by himself with one Stormtrooper randomly driving it. So we'll see how that goes. Now, if we turn it around, we can see that the Stormtroopers have now taken over the vehicle. So who knows what's really going on? We have the backwards turret, which can only shoot backwards. The storage crates, the various doors, which are too big for the Stormtroopers to fit inside of. You've got the latch that opens up on top to put them inside the vehicle, because if not, you couldn't fit anything inside. And also the front cockpit with these stud shooters on either side. Man, these are definitely terms that I should know, but I'm struggling with. And also Grief Karga just firing on some Stormtroopers. Nothing else is new. And also an artillery trooper just shooting up mountains. Like, it's, this is fine. There's no safety recommendations that we should be following here. So let's move into the figures. And the camera keeps falling. This has happened on multiple occasions throughout the past videos, so if you have noticed, I'm deeply sorry, but this has just been a constant problem. Now, the best new figure, because Grief Karga is absolutely fantastic to get a remake after the original, was a little bit subpar. I feel like they could have done a lot more, which they did in this set. But the Mortar Trooper here, or Artillery Trooper, is very great. That yellow really helps him pop, as yellow is a highlight, so you really stand out, which is both good and bad, since you're supposed to be a little bit sneaky with your artillery, but nope, it's just a yellow jelly bean just sitting out there. Yellow and white, very standout, just in like the green grasslands of who knows where. And yeah, it's not really great for camouflage, but aesthetically pleasing as a Lego minifigure. It looks great. You do have a pauldron on the side, which is really good. It's really good to get pauldrons. Big fan of pauldrons. Now, he does have a backpack, which is really good. All the good stuff. A little bit of probably just some extra artillery shells. Now, the helmet itself is of the larger model with the dual molded. However, I do feel that these ones work a lot better. There's the black indentation. These work a lot better on these figures that have these backpacks. Specifically, if I go grab a different trooper. Hold on a second, bear with me. I probably should have paused it, but I didn't. A little bit too late now. One of the Sand Troopers from the Cantina. This works really well because you still have some of that head movement, but it looks proportional to the figure itself, unlike if you look at one of these troopers, for instance, which is just the regular one. It looks out of place and terrible. I think it's much better on these larger troopers. However, if you look at it a little bit too much, you do realize the problem. But generally, these look far better, and these helmets work a lot better with these backpack troopers than they would normally. So let's move on to the two regular Stormtroopers. Now, these Stormtroopers suffer from the helmet problem, because normally they just look like any old Stormtrooper. You have yourself your leg pads, and you've got a little bit of stripes leading up to the belt with the regular armor plating that you might see anywhere else, with the back just having regular Stormtrooper armor. I'm not going to spend too much on these, because there's nothing really too crazy about them to really go into depth about. They're just white. You have a little bit of black there. Camera's fallen over again and again, but the helmet does just make them look really off, which is the very unfortunate side. But what can you really do about that? Let's move on to Grief Karga. Now, Grief Karga here, he does have a little bit of dark brown pants, but going up a little bit, you do have that black robe with the little yellow highlights in there with the dark red that really pop out. You don't get too much detail on the legs other than what looks to be a belt. I know that I say that everything looks like a belt, but it is true that there might be a belt there. We do know that on the torso itself, though, there is a belt with a bit of a golden belt buckle, so there is a bit of redeeming factor in the belt category. However, then you do get this interesting, like, bluish-gray shirt that goes underneath with, like, a little bit of red that pops out, probably like a bit of a vest. So he has a cloak on, then a vest, and then like a red shirt. So a lot of layers for Grief Karga here, but it does look good with some detailing on the robe itself, with a little bit of like darker gray lines, and then some like pads made of gold, which is very interesting. The arms themselves don't have much detail, as they are just dark red with some dark brown hands. The back is a little bit underwhelming with just some white lines. Pretty unfortunate. The hairpiece, very good as always. You do have this nice beard with a little bit of an upset expression from Grief Karga on the one hand, and then no back face, which is a bit unfortunate, but the face that they do give him is pretty good. I must say this is a good minifigure. I might have cut off a little bit of the legs, not that there was much to see there, but yeah, a very good detail, very nice minifigures. Unfortunately, the back is a bit under par. Let's get on to the Marauder itself. Now, we don't normally cover weapons because weapons take up a little bit of time, and sometimes they're just repetitive. But this is a brick-built mortar, and it's pretty cool that we got something a bit more unique for the artillery trooper, and that's about it. Let's move on to the build. Starting up at the front, we do have the latches that open to let you have a pilot inside. Now, you do have a small control panel and a seat to help you fit one of your stormtroopers, probably not your mortar trooper, in there with some stud shooters at either side. If we close this up, you do have this top post, which you can place a minifigure inside of and have yourself a little bit of a firing post up top. There are also the doors on either side, which can be opened because they do have a latch there, so that you can let a stormtrooper inside. They will have to duck their head because, well, they don't normally fit. Then you can kind of close it up, let them say their goodbyes and never be seen again. Now, this top latch, if you can open it, it's a little bit difficult. And see inside, there are two chairs for you to kind of fit yourself. Two minifigures in there, pretty good. There is a spot for your mortar trooper in there, given by the back seat, since it has, if I could open this, no back rail there, so you can easily fit yourself all of your minifigures in there. And actually, since there's an extra space given by this little turret section here, you can fit all minifigures for easy storage on this set. Not that many people do store their figures in sets, but if you do, you can. If you open up these side latches, you do get yourself a little bit of crates. Now, these crates do have something inside of them, as you can hear them rattling while I open them, and that is a few studs. Now, the reason you might want to have a few studs on hand, if you could put them out, is for your stud shooters up at the front. It is a little bit difficult to kind of pick them up, especially if you're using your camera as your lens of looking at the set, and then you look away to kind of put stuff in the chest, and then it's just your arm. But yeah, you do have two like rotating turrets which only go so far back, so your really main force of destruction on the back is just this lightly rotating turret. But overall, this is a nice set. You do get a little bit of engine on the side, which is pretty nice, and on the underneath you don't get too much detail, just some reverse studs to kind of help it go along the ground. And there's our stormtrooper from earlier. Like I said, he had a good vacation. He's really thought about life, and now he's ready to go stop the Millennium Falcon. So with that out of the way, I hope you enjoyed. See you next time.